Football in Zambia will forever be split on either side of a watershed moment. What happened before the 27th of April 1993 and everything that has happened since. On that ill-fated day, a Zambian Air Force Buffalo registered as flight AF319 crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, 500 meters off the coast of Gabon. What was meant to be a routine flight to Senegal, where the national team was set to play a World Cup qualifier against the host nation, turned football in the nation on its head and sent a nation into mourning.
Father, I thank you! I thank you, God!
A total of 30 people were killed, comprising 5 crew members, 18 national team players, 4 members of the coaching staff, and the then chairman of the local football association, a public servant and a traveling journalist. The core of a nation's footballing dreams and hopes were all killed in one tragic event.
On the day on which our team were perished off the coast of Gabon, I was actually in prison. I had been arrested with a group of other 23. We were 24 of us. We were political leaders of a political party called UNIP, the Kaunda's party. And when the MMD first came to power, they felt that there was something happening there, so we were detained. And later on, the late president, this is a good tribute to him, found out that it was not true, and he released us. I was in the first group that was released. So the day I went into prison, that night, I went to Masia Motel to visit our team. I've always done this religiously. And I found that they're just coming back from training from the Independence Stadium. So I sent the waiter to bring 3 cases of Fanta and Coca-Cola. We all sat together and we drank it, and I told them, look, I'm not coming with you, good luck, where you're going, and so and so. And we all shook hands, and then I went home to sleep, and in the morning at 5 a.m. I was picked up. And went to court to answer the first charges, only to be told that our team had perished.
The single tragedy galvanized the side and a nation. Zambia picked up the pieces. The nation consolidated its resources, and a year later equaled their best ever record at the African Cup of Nations when the team ended runners-up to Nigeria, repeating the feat from 20 years before. Football in Zambia has never quite returned to the lofty heights of the mid-1990s. But major developments are taking place in the Copper Belt of Africa. The economic forecast for the country is looking good. The Chipolopolo's most recent advance to the quarter-finals of the African Cup of Nations has left the patrons of football in the country determined to see the Copper Bullets flying high in Africa and the world once more.
We play this from Zambia. 1-0. Beautifully taken goal. Zambia have scored a second goal. James Chimanga turning it in at the far post. And Hervé Renard knows that could be absolutely vital.
It has become a way in which we can empower our many young people in the country, in the rural areas, in the compounds, in the Copper Belt. So we feel that this is one way of solving the problem. We don't think about it, but football is the one thing that brings us together. That's the time when the Africans really feel they belong to one another. It is a gregarious game. You can't play it alone. You play it as a group. And also it's like a dance. It's like music. Those who play football nicely, when they dribble you, even the crowd can feel that you really teased your friend and so on. It is healthy. So that's what I think many Africans love football, because it really is a wonderful game. If you are driving through Zambia in the rural areas on a day when Zambia is playing against South Africa, you just notice it by the voice of Dennis Liwewe or the commentator. Everybody's quiet, everybody's listening to their radio. Or even the one who is alone is walking on a small road in the rural areas in Zambia, he'll have his radio with him. and the cars, and everywhere, everything stops.
There are suggestions that the national team be renamed the Kenneth Kaunda 11, just as it was under the nation's post-colonial president, whose passion is now mimicked by President Banda.
I love the game very much indeed. I still love it today. I'm no longer playing it, but I'm playing golf now. But at that time, soccer was my game. And I felt it was an honor for me to kickstart the game whenever there was an important team playing my team. So that's the secret to that. He has been like that from the beginning. And when he was my minister, he used to play football. And so he has been passionate about the game. And I'm glad that he wants he's still continuing to have great love for that great game. It's a great game. So I have no doubt at all that he would definitely be able to rebuild our team.
Kaunda set the tone for a peaceful post-colonial period, a period marked by unity. President Banda is also using football to forge continued unity and development.
His greatest contribution, not only to Zambia, but to the world, is to unite 73 tribes, speaking 72 languages in an African country, and be united.
His history in the game goes back many years, from his early days as a supporter when he was part of the supporters fans associations in the 70s that traveled all over the African continent following the Zambian team, to the 80s when he was involved in the Football Association of Zambia as vice president. He was also instrumental in setting up Chiparamba academies, where I would say probably 60–70% of Zambia's players today who are making an impact internationally have come through. So his involvement has stretched decades back. And then he comes into power and looks around and sees, no, this is a country that really deserves better infrastructure. So him and the government have put together support structures with other countries, particularly the Chinese, who have come into Zambia and are now beginning to build structures worthy of being called national football stadiums, because for many years Zambia was in the shadow.
When we talk about soccer fans in the country, they are divided into two. There are those who are extremely passionate in whatever position they are in, as was the case with His Excellency, the Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. You remember, or perhaps you may not know, that I coined the expression myself, the KK11, and the reason was for his passion for football. Now, our president, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Rupia Bwezani Banda's passion was from the heart. You should see him, the way he reacts automatically to the youths and the way they react to him. They literally forget sometimes he's a head of state, he knows how to handle them, because they know it comes from the heart. So his love for the country for the youth comes from the heart.
That passion runs into a third generation of Bandas. The president's grandson, Anthony, has taken up the presidential call. He has represented Zambia at age group level.
He's a great man. He's a loving person, and he's always inspiring me to do better, to make it. And I always want to make him proud. I always think and dream about him watching me in the Bernabeu and Old Trafford playing at top-flight football.
Banda Jr. currently plies his trade in the Spanish second division, but his dream is to see Zambian football flourish, with him in the picture, of course.
You know, wherever I go, I hear, look, like I've got friends that live abroad, and whenever they come back, they're like, oh my God, look at all this development that's gone on. And deep down in my heart, I'm like, yep, that's my grandfather over there.
The football landscape is not without its problems. Factionalism has crept into the Football Association of Zambia. A group of executive members, citing a vote of no confidence in the association president, threatened a breakaway towards the end of 2010. Since that time, Zambian politicians have entered the fray in a bid to find a solution. The troubles have echoed in the highest halls of leadership. the president himself stepped into the fray.
Our biggest problem in Zambia, even now, as you are saying, we're doing very well, there's administrative problems, you know, conflict between various groups and so on, conflict with the government, conflict with people and so on, and that's what has slowed us down a little bit. But there's a lot of talent here.
He got very hurt at what was happening, and he saw that as the beginning of the end of what has so far been achieved in terms of football development. And therefore, as head of state, he felt duty-bound to intervene in one way or the other, and especially being patron of FAS. So fortunately, because of his position, he was able to speak directly to Blatter, so that Blatter could arrange for this special meeting at which the two fighting camps were invited, and they had, in my view, very fruitful discussions on the way forward. And so, yes, I mean, he felt very hurt, very concerned, and as a concerned parent, naturally, he wanted to do something about it. And that's how he came into the picture and was able to intervene, arrange for this special meeting in Zurich.
While a permanent solution is being sought, the major sponsors of the game in Zambia have also signaled their concern.
Yes, we are very concerned. I mean, we would like a situation where we have a very easy relationship with the Football Association. But at the moment, I'm not a football specialist. The people who are supposed to be football specialists, they can't agree on anything. So, you know, it puts us corporate sponsors in a bit of a quandary because we don't want to choose between this faction or that faction. We want to have one national administration.
President Banda took the unprecedented move of initiating facilitation by the World Sports governing body FIFA. He felt he could not stand by idly.
I actually wrote it was me who wrote to the president of FIFA, Mr. Sepp Blatter, to say, I know very well the rules of football, that if we intervene in these matters, we will be considered to be intervening in football, which is run by you, FIFA. So I wanted to ask if we can make a case to them. And when I said we, I didn't mean one side. I meant both sides, the two warring partners. We wanted them to go to FIFA and make their presentation, including our government officials who would be there to hear, to represent me, because I couldn't go there myself.
FIFA remains the final arbiter of this matter, but back in Zambia, the intervention has been seen as a most necessary move.
If he hadn't stepped in, I hate to think what could have happened. I think the situation could have probably been worse. I know we haven't resolved, the issue is still very much outstanding, but I think that the steps that were taken and the meeting in Zurich did to some degree help to bring us to where we are now, where we can, I think, pick up the pieces and hopefully continue to find a lasting solution to this impasse.
In 2010, the World Bank named Zambia as one of the fastest economically reforming countries in the world. The recent success, stemming from an administration under President Rupia Banda, has been all too aware that for the country to be a global player, Zambia needed to rely on more than just the rich copper deposits the country has been blessed with. Steadily over the medium term, the country has been diversifying its economy. Sectors like agriculture and tourism are steadily taking their rightful place alongside the main provider of investment, the mining industry. It's all part of the legacy the current head of state wishes to leave behind.
I would like to remember that the president who came in at a time when it was possible to galvanize the economy so that it could support this reconstruction of our country, the roads you have seen yourself. You can see we're struggling a little bit, but we are emulating you. We want to have a clean town and clean towns on the Copper Belt, clean towns in Livingstone. We would like to have all that. And we know that our people love sports, so we want to have stadia all over the country. Yeah, I hope you will see the one that we are building, we're about to conclude in Ndola. There's one which is under construction right now. We're going to begin one here. We also have an Olympic sports. I hope you'll go to that and see that one was done. I officially opened it, and many more. We would like to see good sports field in our schools, in our rural towns where most of our talent is coming from, all over the country, like South Africa.
Copper mining forms the backbone of Zambia's economy. It's the single biggest contributor to GDP. A post-colonial slump in output would be mirrored by a slump in football development, although the Chipolopolo remained a force to be reckoned with. The industry has seen a resurgence, and with it, a greater dedication to growing the game of football.
We would like our sponsorship to be at 2 levels. Of course, it's very, very good to sponsor the national team, but we would also like to be involved in sponsoring youth development football. There is an idea we've discussed in our board where we would have a competition in each province, where the secondary schools in each province would compete in football, and then would help the schools in taking part in that sort of tournament, give them uniforms, boots, footballs, the necessary infrastructure. And then each province would end up with a champion. And then once a year, those champions from the regions would meet in one provincial capital and have a national champion.
The link between the economy and football is unmistakable. In the past 5 years, copper output has grown exponentially. So too has the success of the Chipolopolo on the field of play. If the off-field sagas are to be removed from the equation, the game is bound to bring nothing but development and joy to Zambia.
Fortunately, we cannot hand money to each and every Zambian. So if we can sponsor things like football, you know, and people enjoy football in this country, so that we shall be contributing to the happiness, to the welfare of the Zambian people. We can't do everything by ourselves. That's why we want a prosperous economy, so that we are joined in our efforts by other people.
Zambia's first post-colonial foray into building world-class sporting infrastructure is well and truly underway. The new national stadium in Dola is 75% complete. The $65 million structure is being rushed along because it will be the new home of the Chipolopolo.
It's fantastic. It's a good stadium. We've got a modern stadium that I think is more or less like the one we used in South Africa. We've seen that at least now we are getting to the international standards that we've always looked for.
The modern situation demands that we don't just build a stadium just for playing football alone. I'm glad that government has earmarked that place to be a tax-free zone, and we are inviting the investors to come from all over the world, and they'll get the incentives. So we anticipate that we are going to have the hotels, the shopping malls, and for us, we see the expansion of a town going towards that direction. So this will definitely boost the economic activities of the region.
It's not just about the football, though. The stadium will have tremendous knock-on effects for other aspects of the economy. It's led to entrepreneurs in the country gearing themselves up for a new wave of money-making.
Can you imagine 40,000 people? Where are they going to sleep? What are they going to eat? If you can even take 25% of 40,000, we have 10,000 people that will come here every second week. How many quarter chickens are going to be sold? All these farms that are around should start dusting their chicken runs, those growing vegetables.
Another major driver of economies all over Africa is undoubtedly tourism. The country is known as a playground on the continent with a treasure trove of sites and activities. In order to harness this potential, the Tourism Ministry has gone through a serious rebranding phase.
Sports tourism is one of the very key segments of tourism. Many people who tour the world to go and do sport or watch any particular sport will inevitably impact the tourism sector of that particular country, because they are visitors first and foremost, and so they spend in that country. And because they are spending on accommodation and other services, they are also beginning to appreciate the tourism product of that particular place.
With South Africa hosting the World Cup in 2010, Zambia has been watching closely. The African First was a massive learning experience for the country. More than that, and more directly, it also helped in putting Zambia on the map to more than 300,000 people who visited the region last year.
Although South Africa provided the stage, the whole region was the theater. And we may not see the immediate impact of that very important event, but long term, we are beginning to see that this region is being known more, it's understood more. There were a lot of people who came to the World Cup, but also went beyond South Africa. They came to Zambia, they went to many other countries in the region. So the FIFA World Cup in 2010 provided an opportunity for us to be known, to be profiled, to be showcased.
The crown jewel in the Zambian tourism experience must certainly be the Victoria Falls, situated in Livingstone. Famously known as Mosiotunia, or the smoke that thunders, the 108-meter-high waterfall sits slap bang between Zambia and Zimbabwe. For both countries, it's provided the perfect backdrop to host the world.
It's the main attraction, but also along with all of the activities that you can do at the falls, such as rafting, bungee jumping, canoeing on the upper river, and some game viewing as well. We have 7 rhino in the Mosiotunia Park, so there's an awful lot to do here that makes it really interesting for visitors.
If football develops and Zambia gets more involved in the game on an international level, there is every possibility that Victoria Falls will be inundated with visitors coming to see the beautiful game and some of the most beautiful scenery in the world.
I would love to see football come to Livingstone in a more active way. Everyone here is soccer mad, and everyone supports a team in either the English League or the Spanish League or German League. And whenever the football is on, we always have to have it on the TV, and there's always people watching it. So I think there's a real opportunity here to use football in Livingstone to bring more people here. There would be a huge amount of support.
Whether it's game drive safaris you're after, or the splendor of Mother Nature, or perhaps you wish to travel within a country steeped in history and culture, Zambia is a potential #1 destination on the African continent. As with all other economic drivers, the link between sport and industry is a relationship set to grow stronger and closer in direct proportion.
This is Africa's best kept secret, and we are inviting the rest of the world to come and explore, because this is Africa's paradise.
The potential is there for the country to reclaim its spot amongst the top teams on the continent. The major challenge is for Zambia to get its administrative house in order. On this front, the patron of the beautiful game in Zambia has called the nation to action.
Anybody who comes into office in Zambia realizes, I think once they've sat in the chair, that football is a part of everybody's life. It's paramount to the people of Zambia. So it would be very difficult for anyone to try and reverse the momentum of what has been started.
Football's life as a whole, you know. The more you grow in life, the more you grow in football. And I've just been growing and growing and growing and getting more and more experienced all the time.
As things stand, the game of football and Zambia as a nation has been pulled in the right direction. The onus is on everyone involved in the sport of billions in Zambia to keep towing that line.
He is not a man who will run football. He has got an interest. He has got to see that Zambia has got a good management team, a good executive that will run football, you know, from south to north, from east to west, all around football, not in one area.
Whoever comes in, please, we you know, like even God created every part of the body has got its own functions. I'm not a politician, but I'd want to see a lot of activities going on in sport. And that way, you'll find that Zambians, children in Marapodi, Mandevu, Chipata compound, they have nothing to do with the politics. They're only interested in sport.
So you make the country to be very happy.
I think Zambian football will take the right steps to re-establish itself. I mean, it's a fact that Zambia is not the force of yesteryear. Zambia is not the Zambia of the 80s, the 70s, or even the early part of the 90s. And he realizes that. He sees that this country is a fraction of what it used to be. He sees the need to give people some joy, some happiness. He sees the need to give the game a platform where Zambia can thrive once again. And let's not forget, TK, that Zambia is an industry. Zambian football is an industry, and football worldwide has become an industry. So it's important that football develop alongside the way it has in Europe, the way it has in South America, the way it has in North America. It creates jobs. It's not only about the entertainment value, but it creates jobs. It gives young boys opportunities in life that they would not necessarily have. I mean, you don't have to be the best educated person to make millions of dollars. The game of football can do that for you.
And I believe if my colleagues who are running the FA can take advantage of the president like this, and I hope that we should reach the World Cup under his leadership.
I really hope we can get over our wrangles and start to prepare our team. I'm looking forward to calling everybody involved in football, not to talk about their wrangles, but to talk about the way forward. How can we prepare ourselves properly and in good time in order to qualify for the 2014 World Cup?